We get caught up in learning all the time. So let's say you're reading a book and you pick up a book, The Laws of Human Nature, and you want to read it because you just want to be a better person. You want to find your faults and fix them. You want to be better in relationships, whatever it may be. So the whole idea of picking up this book is to be better. Now, when you go through and you're listening to all these different points from the chapters, you're like, whoa, I can do X, Y, and Z to be better. And so maybe you use memory techniques and you go through and memorize all the different points to each chapter. And you're like, yeah, I got it. But what happens is you're stuck in that mode, the learning mode. You could go through the whole book, apply memory techniques, that's what you're so excited about, but you never actually apply it. And that's a problem because the whole point of picking up this book, for example, was to improve yourself. Just because you know the information doesn't mean you embody it, doesn't mean you start using it on a daily basis, right? No, you have to actually apply it. And it's when you start applying information, it's so much easier to remember because now you're making a connection between the information in your head and what you're actually doing. Because you could go through and memorize all of these different points, and this is a book I'm actually listening to right now as an audiobook. And so you could go through, learn all of these different points, all these different strategies, whatever it may be, but you're going to have to keep reviewing it and repeating it because if you never apply it, then it's all just in your head and it's just kind of useless information at that point, right? And so whatever you're learning, what you have to do is you have to apply it in some way. If you're learning a language, you have to practice it, speak it with someone else. Just going through and listening, like, okay, got it. But when you actually hear someone speak, can you actually, translate everything that they said in your head and then translate everything you want to say in that specific language? It's totally different when you're just reviewing by yourself, right, and studying. You're like, okay, got it, yeah, because you're going at your own pace. But when you actually have to apply it, it's a totally different story. But when you do apply it, it becomes so much easier, especially a language, because you're like, oh, wait, this is how it's supposed to flow together. This is how it's supposed to sound. All these things start to fall into place when you actually start applying it. Now, some information is really hard to apply. So, for example, if you're not reading a book that's about self-help, if you're reading, Harry Potter or something like that, I'm not sure exactly how you would apply it. I'm not exactly sure. I don't really read fiction books because I don't see how you could apply them to real world. Besides entertainment factor, you might learn like different story stuff. But for me, I like to stick to books I can actually apply in some way. But that's for you to figure out for yourself. If there is something you could apply, from whatever you're learning. Something like all the presidents of the United States. Yes, you could apply them if you have a test of some sort. But just say if you're learning for fun, you kind of just have the information in your head. And you kind of just have to randomly review it to make sure it's still there, right? Because you never really have the chance to apply it in, I guess, regular circumstances, right? You can't just like go up to someone random like, hey, you want to know all the presidents? It just doesn't really make sense. And so some information is a lot harder to apply, but if you can find a way to apply it, remembering it is going to be so much easier because now you're making more connections in your brain. And at the end of the day, you just want to make as many connections in your brain, as many associations as possible, because that's going to make it so much easier to recall it because you have all these different pathways to that information. And so if you get anything from this video, it's apply the information that you're learning. Don't be stuck in learning mode because that's so easy to do. That's a lot easier than actually applying stuff, Going through this book, reading all these different concepts and ideas, really easy, but actually applying them to better yourself, that's hard. So hopefully you enjoy this video, and I'll see you next time.